Chapter 8. Sierra had never seen so many books. Economic Development in the Third World, one title proclaimed loudly from a display table. Studies in Puerto Rican Literature, said another. It never even occurred to her there was such a thing as Puerto Rican literature, let alone that it would be worthy of a thick volume in a Columbia University library. A smaller paperback was called Debating Uncle Remus, an anthology of essays and stories about the historic Southern folk tales. Stay focused, girl, she told herself, imitating her godfather's voice. Do what you came here to do. She found a sprawling map and ran her finger along it till she found the area called Anthropology Archives. Sub-basement 7, she said out loud. Great. She passed through a loudly clanking doorway and went down 2 flights of concrete stairs that reeked of clove cigarettes and perfume. Sub-basement 7 looked more like a warehouse than a library. Metal shelves stretched into the darkness of a vast gray hall. Churning machinery hummed somewhere close by. They must have had the AC cranked up all the way because Sierra had to wrap her arms around herself for warmth as soon as she walked in. "Can I help you?" said a girl sitting behind a desk. She looked only a few years older than Sierra. She had a scarf wrapped around her neck and a knit cap pulled over her curly black hair. The name tag on her button-up shirt said Nidia Ochoa. "I'm doing some research," Sierra said, "for a project I'm doing in anthropology class for summer session." She fished a little scrap of paper from her jeans pocket and put it on the desk. "I'm studying a professor who used to work here. His name was Jonathan Wick." Nydia's face lit up. "Oh," she said, smiling conspiratorially. "Dr. Wick! Juicy stuff." "You know Dr. Wick?" Nydia shook her head. "No, he's been gone since, 2 semesters ago. She leaned over the desk and lowered her voice. "Well, no one knows what happened to him?" "No." She threw herself back into the swivel chair. "Check that. He completely vanished from the known universe, like poof. I asked everyone. I can't help it that I'm curious, you know? But old Denton, the guy I took over for when they brought me in to run the archives..." "Wait." Sierra put up a hand. "You run the archives?" "Well, the anthropology archives, yeah." "But aren't you 20? Nydia let a warm smile spread over her face. 33, sweetheart. She held up a framed photo of 2 grinning boys with dark brown skin and big afros. "And I got a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, but thanks for the compliment. Black don't crack, you know? And anyway, we Boricuas age at our own dang pace. You Puerto Rican, right?" Sierra nodded. "I love books, and I want to be around them all day, even if it's in some dingy basement at a stuffy old university on the Upper West Side." True to her heritage, the head librarian talked a mile a minute. "Eventually, I'm going to open my own library up here in Harlem, but like a people's library, not just for academics. And it'll be full of people's stories, not just jargony scholar talk. This is like practice, really, and to boost my standing in the eyes of certain potential funders." "You have a whole plan, huh?" Sierra said. She'd never met anyone like Nydia before. "Yeah, anyway, old man Denton told me all kinds of mysterious crap about this Wick guy. He was a big anthro dude, specifically the spiritual systems of different cultures, yeah? But people said he got too involved, didn't know how to draw a line between himself and his..." She crooked 2 fingers in the air and rolled her eyes. "Subjects. But if you ask me, that whole subject anthropologist dividing line is pretty messed up anyway." "What do you mean?" "Ugh, you ask me these questions like it won't end up with me unloading a dissertation into your ear until 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm controlling myself, though, because I'm sure we both have other things we need to be doing. I'm just saying, who gets to study and who gets studied and why? Who makes the decisions, you know?" "I don't know at all," Sierra said. "Right. Most people don't. It's a whole messy bureaucracy of grants and... Oh, see? Anyway, Wick was sort of beyond that for a while, the way I understand it. Or he thought he was. He'd go in and learn a whole bunch about some group and their rituals and then, disappear for a while and learn actually how to do, you know. What? Magic. Stuff with the dead, whatever. Sierra's eyes widened. Word? I mean, that's what people say, yeah? Nydia shrugged. Me? I don't know. People side-eye guys like Wick on account of all that old-time medical anthropology type of research way back when. And you know that's some icky-ish this grand old institution was into. Grave robbing and worse. I didn't know that. But Wick was against all that from what I hear. He was down for the cause or whatever. But let me stop running my big mouth and get you your files. Before Sierra could even digest the avalanche of information she'd just heard, Nydia had turned and disappeared into the stacks. She came back a few minutes later and placed a thick file of papers on the counter. Here you go, hun. This'll give you a good introduction to Wick's work. Thing is, you gotta photocopy him. You can use the copier over there. Just swipe your ID like a credit card. Thing is, Sierra mumbled, I don't have my ID. Nydia stopped sorting through the file and took a long look at Sierra. I thought you looked kinda young. I can explain. The librarian held up a hand, which Sierra was grateful for because she really had no idea how she was going to explain. No need. I see you're up to something interesting, and I'm curious. And I like your style. Here. She fished around in some hidden desk drawer and then handed Sierra a laminated card with a pin on the back. It's a temporary ID, the one I give to my interns. We can get you a real one later if you want to keep coming through. You can use it on the copiers and it'll get you past security. Wow, Sierra said, admiring her gift. Thanks. I don't know what to say. De nada, Nydia smiled. She separated a smaller file of papers from the rest. This is the good stuff anyway. His journals and notes. Most of the other crap is research and equations and blah blah. Anyway, here's my cell. She scribbled a number on a yellow post-it note. Let me know if you find out anything interesting about Wick. What was in the briefcase? Sierra asked her godfather. Neville either ignored her or couldn't hear her over the old funk song he was happily singing along to as it cruised down the West Side Highway. Sierra clutched the file to her chest. The world seemed to get stranger and stranger by the hour, but the waning afternoon stayed stubbornly beautiful. The setting sun played hide-and-seek with some purple clouds stretched out along the Jersey City skyline, and a warm summer breeze swooshed in through the open Cadillac windows and made a mess of her hair. Neville, she said. Get up, get up, get up, he yelled, honking the horn on the one. Sierra clicked off the radio. Neville shot her an irritated glance. What was in your briefcase? Nothing. What do you mean, nothing? I mean, not a damn thing. I emptied it out before we left. Why? Neville looked proud of himself. I always roll with an empty briefcase in case I gotta leave it somewhere. Why'd everyone go running and security get all upset? Sierra said. 'Cause a black man put a bag down and walked away? But it worked, didn't it? But you could have got arrested, man. Neville scoffed. For being forgetful? For needlessly troubling the good people of Lost and Found? I wish they would. Did you get what you needed? I mean, yeah. But you were sitting out in the car that whole time. They could have... I would have left if it got hot and just called you to meet me somewhere else. I do have a cell phone, you know. But it's a good thing things didn't come to that. Got my sawed-off in the trunk. Sawed-off shotgun? Uncle Neville just laughed and turned the radio back on. Sierra could never tell when he was kidding about things like that.